Today we are going to discuss about the special significance and goals of technology for the education of children with visual impairment. There is a growing awareness that people with disabilities have the right to expect the same standard of service and access as every other member of the society. However, disabled people must overcome additional obstacles before they enjoy the information, services, entertainment and social interaction offered by the information and communication technologies to the full. Blind people need appropriate hardware and software to be created, for example, a text as an alternative to images. The text can be translated into an audible format by specially designed screen reading devices or made accessible by the means of printed braille text. People with low vision may use technology with the help of large format text and effective color contrast. Information has become a social necessity and a fundamental aspect of human rights, and we cannot allow any group to be excluded from it. Therefore, we have to find ways to integrate these people into the current information and technological space. We have just started to explore and put into practice the potential of information and communication technologies to support independent living and learning by persons with special needs. This potential, exploited, can lead to very important consequences for the equality of life of the disabled. In this connection, understanding of the barriers to learning faced by those who have special education needs is imperative if we aim to improve accessibility. Assistive technology is a tool frequently used to promote access to the general education curriculum for students with disabilities. For students with visual impairments, a variety of high technology and low technology assistive technologies including organizational tools, magnification devices and screen readers can assist students in accessing materials in the content areas. The purpose of assistive technology is to level the playing field for students with disabilities by minimizing the effects of sensory impairments. A tremendous achievement gap, however, still exists between students with visual impairments and their peers who do not have disabilities. There are two possible reasons for this discrepancy. One explanation is that students are not getting an opportunity to learn. They may not have adequate access to grade level material or as access to a variety of experiences, including instruction and assistive technologies that may help a student independently access the general education curriculum. Lack of technology training may also be present in students' expanded curriculum, which includes mobility, life skills and leisure training. Students with visual impairments have historically used a wide variety of tools to assist them in the education. Low technology aids such as handheld magnifiers and slate and stylus are used to write braille. They are found in schools along with high technology devices such as computer screen magnifiers, braille printers and screen reading software. Also, it must be mentioned that people with special education needs may have a combination of impairments. It is common when whatever is the ground for one impairment, it causes others. This is particularly true where a distance or trauma is severe or when age is the cause of impairments. Deaf blindness is a commonly identified combination. Most of these individuals are neither profoundly deaf nor legally blind, but are both visual and hearing impaired to the extent that separate strategies for deafness or blindness do not work. Diabetes, which can cause blindness, also provokes the loss of sensation in fingers. This makes braille or raised lettering difficult to read. Cerebral palsy is often accompanied by visual impairments, hearing and language disorders or cognitive impairments. It stands to reason that the functional limitations described above impede students from getting a sufficient level of knowledge, and this must be taken into consideration while selecting equipment and assistive technology tools for studies. The educational needs of people with disabilities are vastly diverse. On the one hand, they must, as their peers, get knowledge and skills required in the society in which they live. On the other, they have additional demands, which are often referred to as special education needs, caused by functional limitations, which affect learners' ability to access standard educational methods of instruction, therefore prevent educational progress. In this context, information and communication technology application is very important as it plays an essential role in providing high quality education for students with disabilities. Information and communication technologies have been introduced into the teaching learning process in order to improve quality, support curricular changes and new learning experiences. In this way, it is possible to meet the specific learning needs of different learner groups, including students with disabilities. Though specific applications of technologies are extremely diverse and varied, they may be grouped into the main three categories called as compensation uses, didactic uses, communication uses. With this in mind, the role of information and communication technologies in special education will be described in accordance with the primary categories. First, let us discuss the information and communication technologies for compensation uses. This is the use of new technologies as a technical assistance that allows students with special needs to take active part in the process of interaction and communication. If a person has motor disability, he may be held to write or read. If a person is with a visual deficiency, from this point of view, information and communication technologies develop the student's ability to control their environment, make choices about their experiences, support problem solving, give access to information, thereby enhance communication with others both in immediate environment and around the world. In other words, technology can recoupe or substitute the lack of natural functions. Now let us discuss information and communication technologies for didactic uses. Information and communication technologies used as a learning tool have promoted a new dimension of education and launched the transformation of the educational approaches. Information and communication technologies application brings a variety of new teaching and assessment strategies for students with different educational needs. Here, we must note that information technologies as a didactical tool are suitable for implementing the inclusive education. In order to enhance personal development, educational initiatives within the inclusive curriculum must aim at meeting unique needs, differences, and abilities of an individual. Hence, they must be fully supported to achieve these goals at an appropriate pace. Information technologies thereupon will become a valuable resource for inclusion. Now, let us look into the information and communication technologies for communication uses. Technologies can mediate communication with people having disabilities, often referred to as alternative and augmentative communication. Assistive devices and software to meet the needs of students with definite communication difficulties are specific to every disability. We talk about the computer as a resource that eases and makes the communication possible, allowing a person with communicative disorders to exhibit his or her abilities in a more convenient way, or people with motor and communicative disorders to start communication, show the needs and make the demands. Furthermore, where teachers are in short supply, distance teaching methods can help provide special services between geographically dispersed students and teachers. Inclusive education presents an opportunity for students with special needs to attend mainstream classrooms with their age group peers. To realize this, we need to provide for the relevant conditions of overcoming the barriers to the learning process. Particularly speaking, these conditions are attained via the facilitation of information and communication technology infrastructure for special education, integration of information and communication technologies into special education curriculum, and training of information and communication technology specialists in the special needs education. The main criterions for successful inclusions of students with special education needs are training of information and communication technology specialists in special needs education, integration of information and communication technologies into the special needs education curriculum, and promoting information communication technology infrastructure for special needs education. Promoting technology infrastructure for special education is necessary in order to provide for the appropriate conditions of teaching and learning in the special education context. The conditions in every type of inclusive education area cannot be successfully created without the appropriate technology tools applied. Assistive tools must be used to allow students with special education needs to participate in the educational process based on special techniques and equipment. For some students, a technological solution will be the only way to ensure that they can make their needs, opinions and views known. For them, access to technology based solutions is a lifeline to inclusion. Information and communication technology support in inclusive education is important because it covers issues that apply to a spectrum of potential learning needs. The key ways in which information and communication technologies can support educational opportunities for people with special education needs are identifying the preliminary level of personal development, that is the experiences and skills to say as the starting point of a student, assisting in personal development by shaping new skills or updating existing ones, improving the access to information, overcoming geographical or social isolation via communication support and networks, improving the image or perception of an area by enhancing motivation and awareness regarding the technology benefits in special education. It is also important to recognize that with technologies alone we cannot solve all the problems. The second step requires the willingness of educators to develop innovative teaching methods or to change and adopt the existing approaches to accommodate new concepts of special needs education and modern technologies. If a learner is unable to manage a particular activity due to physical or sensory barriers, alternative activities must be designed or adapted so that he or she gets a chance to receive the needed information and demonstrate the results. To implement this intention, information and communication technologies must be fully integrated in special education curricula. Curriculum modification is not about its simplification for some students or lowering of academic requirements or standards. The modified curriculum must preserve the skills or knowledge required for a particular course and distribute knowledge and training resources in a more creative way and on a more equal basis. In the new millennium, online delivery has become the most prevalent way of presenting the up-to-date information to students in the quickest, more flexible and innovative ways possible. Educational courses can utilize a variety of technologies to facilitate learning and interaction between participants. Asynchronous and synchronous communication and collaborative tools such as email, bulletin boards, whiteboards, chat rooms, video conferencing and teleconferencing. Interactive elements which can be simulations, immersive environments and games, various testing and evaluation methods, self-assessment, multiple choice testing can be used as the testing and evaluation methods. Educational content can be presented in various media, that is, they can be represented as a text on a website, multimedia such as digital audio, digital video, animated images and virtual reality environments. This content can be created in a multiplicity of ways utilizing a variety of authoring tools. As a result, information and communication technologies transform educational dynamics by providing alternative, authoritative sources of information, which require teachers to become facilitators and in some cases intermediaries between specific information sources and a learner. At the same time, information and communication technologies can break teachers' isolation, provide them with prospects to communicate beyond the traditional school management hierarchy. According to the research of the British Educational Communication and Technology Agency, information communication technology usage in schools to support students with special education needs can enable learners to communicate, participate in the lessons, and learn more effectively. The general information and communication technology benefits are: it enables learner autonomy. It unlocks the hidden potential for those with communication difficulties. It enables students to demonstrate achievement in ways which might not be possible with traditional methods. It enables tasks to be tailored to suit individual skills and abilities. Now let us discuss the information and communication technology benefits for students. Computers can improve independent access for students to education. Students with special education needs are able to accomplish tasks working at their own pace. Visually impaired students using the internet can access information alongside their sighted peers. Students with profound and multiple learning difficulties can communicate more easily. Students using voice communication aids gain confidence and social credibility at school and in their communities. Increased information communication technology confidence among students motivates them to use the internet at home for schoolwork and leisure interests. Information communication technology also benefits teachers and the non-teaching staff, reduces the isolation for teachers working in special education needs by enabling them to communicate electronically with colleagues, supports reflection on professional practice via online communication, provides skills for staff and a greater understanding of access technology used by students, enhances professional development and the effectiveness of the use of information communication technologies with students through collaboration with peers. Materials already in electronic form, such as the ones available on the internet, are more easily adapted into accessible resources such as large print or braille. Information communication technology not only benefits students and teachers, but it also benefits parents and caretakers. Use of voice communication aids encourages parents and caregivers to have higher expectations of children's sociability and potential level of participation. The current period of educational system development is characterized by the increasing role of technologies, which have become an important new component of the curriculum, adding a valuable set of new resources and didactical tools suitable to support the learning process. In order to exploit the whole potential of the technologies to provide for the equality, it is necessary to understand the barriers to learning faced by those who are seen to have special education needs. Barriers to learning prevent students from getting sufficient level of knowledge as well as from giving a teacher a true evaluation of the student's competence. Though the application of technologies in education of people Though the application of technologies in education of people with special needs are extremely diverse, there are three main areas for their use, namely compensation uses, didactic uses and communication uses. In order to implement inclusion in education, there is a need to create appropriate conditions for students with special education needs. The achievement of conditions for successful inclusion in all areas of education can be realized by means of providing for the appropriate technological infrastructure, modification of the curriculum and training of new specialists in special education capable to use the technologies.